really a seagoing hot rod.
If your car ever broke down in the middle of nowhere, you might appreciate
The Motorman. You get your motor running. Healing your wheels for 35 years. The one and only Motorman.
That's right, folks. Say hallelujah and welcome back to another power-packed hour of the one and only Motorman Show. Welcome, everyone. I am the Motorman, where I put the romance back into all types of vehicles. It's never too late to have a happy childhood, but the second one is up to us. Folks, I call this a lifestyle show. It's not an infomercial. I call it a real, and it is a real radio show. I'm just part of it, and I try to help people. First of all, speaking of helping people, good morning to Frank sitting in yonder there, trying to keep us on the air. It is time for Funday Services, and it's a fun day. And I usually say it's not a BS show, it's a CS show, customer service, and, of course, common sense. Okay, here's one of Frank's dumb jokes. God, they're bad. I'm just embarrassed to do these, but people love it. You'd be surprised how much people say, I love those jokes. Brett, are you there now? Can I run a dumb joke by you? Frank has been driving me crazy. And this is dumb.
I love the dumb jokes.
Oh.
I love the dumb jokes.
Okay, why couldn't the leopard play hide and seek? Why couldn't the leopard play hide and seek?
You got me.
Because he was always spotted. Oh, brother, Frank. That's enough. Oh, God, I apologize for that. I couldn't help it, but I'm just a mere conduit. Frank made me do it.
Yeah, I'm here, Leon.
Oh,
hey,
good.
This is what I want. Yeah, I wanted to find this out. I like to do a lot of wrenching myself, but I don't have a shop. I don't have a lift.
You're lucky.
But,
well... That's a lot of work. I don't want you to cut your fingers off and all of this. No, but cars, that brings up a point. Cars used to be fun to work on. Literally, I still enjoy going to work, but cars used to be fun to work on. It was easy for me to diagnose them, and I was always proud of that. I thought I was very good at that for years. Now, since the computers, now it's a lot of things I can't do unless I hook up my computer. I said, whoa,
right.
Missing. Maybe I should pull a spark plug wire off. Uh-oh, don't do that, Leon. First of all, it takes me 15 minutes to 20 minutes to find the engine, to remove all this cowling and parts all over it because they want the engine to look good when you open the hood. So I got to remove all of that just to get down to the engine. So it's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, that's why I bought a Toyota, because I think that they're kind of user-friendly.
They are.
They are, and this is what I got going. I want to change the fuel filter, but I don't have a manual. So is the fuel filter on a 2004 Toyota Tacoma SR5, is that fuel filter, could it be somewhere behind the fuel tank, or is it under the bottom of the carriage of the vehicle?
Well, two places, and I would have to research it myself, because it's either in the fuel line between the tank and the engine, usually somewhere around the driver's seat positioning in the fuel line, if it's in the fuel line, or it's in the fuel pump, in the fuel tank itself. If it's in the fuel tank itself, then I'm not so concerned, because that's a big filter and they give very little problem if it's in the fuel tank. But if it's outside the fuel tank, then I would change it as soon as possible.
Right, because I looked at the part at the auto parts store, and it's a smaller looking unit. Yeah, and the guy said, hey, you know what? He goes, what do you want to do? Do you want to buy like a remanufactured fuel filter, or do you want to buy the original? What is your thinking on?
Always buy the original. You don't know what a remanufactured is. I try to give my customers the best parts I can possibly buy. When I look at it and talk to a customer as if it was my own car, I look at it as if it was my own vehicle to make the right decision. How do I know a remanufactured part? They just see if fuel goes through it and maybe just repaint the thing. Repaint.
Exactly.
And I've got to run. Frank's coming up. More Motorman Show coming up right here at Talk Radio. Frank, I know. I want you to relax. I want you to start thinking about the jokes and writing some good jokes. You're getting out of control. I know I don't mean to tell all these jokes, but Frank keeps handing them to me. What does a baby computer call its dad? Data. Okay. Jim, I'm sorry about that. How can I help you? Good morning.
Well, I'm hoping you can, Mr. Motorman. Good morning. I've got a 1981 Datsun 510.
Datsun. I haven't heard that word in a long time. They quit using that and changed to Nissan.
That's right. I think I've got the last year they called it Datsun.
The Datsun.
Yeah.
I like that
Anyway,
name almost more than Nissan.
That's right. That's right. You don't hear them too often anymore.
That's right.
But anyway, it's reaching a point to where when I turn the ignition key, nothing's happening.
No click, no anything.
That's right. No solenoid nose, no click, nothing.
Standard shift or automatic?
Automatic.
Okay. What do you do to get it started? Or it doesn't
Well,
start?
that maybe the first time you do it, it'll do it, but then if you play with it and do it a couple times, then it'll catch and start.
Here's what I would do. You turn the key, let's say you turn the key to the start position and nothing happens. Do not let up. Keep it right there. Take the gear selector, move it down to neutral. If it starts right there in neutral, then it would be, and then it always starts in neutral. Then from then on, put it in neutral and try to start. Then it would be a neutral safety switch. Now, as a technician, this would be easy to solve because all I'd have to do is use a test light to see if electricity is getting down to my starter solenoid.
Right.
And then if it is, then and then it would be the solenoid that would be bad and causing the problem. Because when you just keep flipping back and forth, all you're doing is keep activating the starter solenoid. The starter solenoid is nothing more than a relay switch that engages the starter. When you turn the key to the start position, what you're doing is activating the solenoid, not the starter. The solenoid engages the starter. Yeah.
And then I've got one other question for you. That car certainly qualifies for an antique.
Somewhat.
But I notice it doesn't have any aesthetic value. What would it take before that car would have any value?
How long are you going to live? If you live another 100
That
years, it's all based on life expectancy.
I see.
Well, it's not the type of car when you drive down the street the lady's going to jump inside of.
That's true.
You know, I mean,
That's
it's a
true.
nice...
It doesn't have that.
Right, it doesn't have that value, and it doesn't have the performance value. So therefore, you've got to look at it and just, even though of the age, you're not going to make a lot of money on it. Everybody thinks they're going to make a lot of money on it. You can just see if you can find a collector out there. Basically, that's it. It's not a real car that's in great demand, I should say. Thanks so much for your call. I didn't mean to upset you, but that's really it. Okay.
Do you have a fast car?
I have a very fast car. People may not think so. You Ferrari owners and Lamborghini owners and all, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. You better just shut your eyes and just look the other way. Don't even let it cross your mind. Frank, I like this one. Here's Frank's joke. What do you call two fat people having a chat? What do you call two fat people having a chat? A heavy discussion. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't take it, Frank. Let's go speak to Bob. Bob, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Motorman. I'm calling from my cell. I don't mean prison,
Oh.
but I write these one-liners and jokes, and
Yeah, so does Frank.
I hear them. And, I went to one restaurant the other day, and I swear to God, all the employees were out to lunch.
That's what happened to me at El Torito. They were all out to lunch somewhere, mentally, anyway. That's good. That's good. I like them being out to lunch. It's something that sounds very, very good. But Frank, I mean, it's funny. The car here, it is a motoring show, and people listen to me worldwide. And then Frank has the gall to hand me this. My girlfriend hates when I make jokes about her weight. She needs to lighten up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. You'll get a lot of points with that. My girlfriend hates it when I make jokes about her weight. She needs to lighten up. Okay. Right.
Me and my wife and my brother Joe took off in my Ford from San Pedro. We hadn't much gas and the tires were low, but the doggone Ford could really go.
Yeah, I was driving the Ford. I think that was it. Welcome back, everyone, to the Motorman program. Yeah, my first car was a Ford. Had many Fords since then. A 52 Ford, which was a hand-me-down. Okay, welcome back, everyone, to the Motorman program. Let's go and speak to, is it Francisco?
This is Francisco, yes. I'm interested in buying this Cadillac SRX 2004, but I have some questions about the cost of fixing the parts that I know that it seems like they're broken. Because every time I back it up or turn, it makes a cracking sound on the front suspension.
Ooh, I'm concerned about that. It's probably something simple. Or nothing, maybe I shouldn't say simple, nothing major, but I want to check it out because it can be, since it's I think you said it's an 04, so it's, you know, a few years old. What is it? You know, like 12, 13 years old.
Yes,
so
it is 13
It's, you know, it could be just nothing more than a bushing. That vehicle has what we call a rack and pinion steering. The older cars you've heard me talk about have gearboxes, and that the steering wheels is connected to a gearbox. Now they've converted to rack and pinion. It's one long unit underneath, and that's mounted to the frame, and it has bushings, rubber bushings. And sometimes those bushings will get dry, and they will crack when you turn, especially when you turn real sharp, and maybe checked all the steering mechanism. Because having a rack and pinion steering is fairly simple. That's why they went to that. And so I don't think it's anything at this time major, but I would certainly have it looked into because it could be some lubrication on the ball joints or the suspension system. Anything with the front end, when it starts making noises, I'm concerned about because that is what steers the vehicle naturally. Now, another thing they have on that particular vehicle is they have McPherson struts. McPherson struts is where shock absorbers, they used to be called shock absorbers. McPherson strut is the guy that invented the system where it's a spring shock absorber all in one unit. And when that and that has a bushing up on top, and when that turns, sometimes that'll make a cracking noise, and it may be nothing more than lubrication. The only expense would be if you had to remove the McPherson struts and put the new seal on top, which would probably be a couple of $100 plus tip. No, I'm not going to say tip anymore. I got a real nasty letter one time when I said that. I got the longest letter.
Everybody needs a tip.
No, I'm just kidding. I promise. I'm just kidding. But I've mentioned it before. I got the longest letter. It says, mechanics make plenty of money. Why would you have the nerve to ask for a tip? I'm just kidding. You know? But main thing to do is have it checked over. Then they can make a decision whether it's something that you need taken care of or not. It may be maybe something simple. Then, let's say it's expensive, you can always hold off or make a decision unless it's a safety issue.
Okay. What about a check engine light inside? Would it pass the smoke check with that?
No. It will not pass the smog check if it's got a check engine light on until you get that fixed. And they're going to scan the computer, even if you turn the light out. And only a computer, I'll have to hook up a computer to turn it out. But if it's still recorded in the computer, they will pick that up. So you've got to get that taken care of, my friend, right away.
Sensors, huh?
Right. If you have one of those sensors there that is bad, or an O2 sensor, and maybe something simple as well that's causing that. It could be a gas cap problem, but we need to scan the computer. It's going to give us a code, and they'll tell us not exactly, I shouldn't say that, tell you the area that the problem may be, and therefore get it fixed. It's got to be taken care of before you get a smog certificate. And thanks so much for your call, Francisco, and have a great day. Another thing on my mind is fuels. Every time I pull into a gas station, used to call them service stations, but you can't get service anymore there. But a gas station, why do they have three brands? An 81, 89, and 91. The 89 is sort of useless. In my opinion, it's just sales pitch to get you to spend more money for fuel. So you think it's like vitamins. Oh, I think I'm just doing my car some good there. So anyway, we'll talk about that. It still bothers me. It doesn't bother me, but I mean, it's still why they got 3 grades of gasoline there, which is sort of silly. So anyway, if you want to talk about any of these things, whatever is on your mind, we will talk about it. Handicap placards, whatever, turn signals. People don't use the turn signals anymore. Cell phones. Oh, cell phones, yes. Cars today. I was thinking, with all the cell phones that you can drive, and you see everybody's on them, texting, or why don't, when you're in a car and you got the seatbelt hooked up, you can do electronically, because all the electronics in cars today, electronically, you can make the phone, disable the phone, where you can't get texts or making calls, or you cannot, you can put an antenna in the roof where you cannot make calls or text unless your car is stopped or in park. It's very easy to do. I don't know why. I guess any manufacturer comes out with it, they'll figure the sales would be bad, but I think it should be mandatory that, more accidents are caused by people on their cell phones and everything. But they could make that very, very easy to disable the phones while you're in the car. Okay, new computers here. Let's go back to the phones with, is it Chad? Chad, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, Chad. Thanks for calling. Thank you.
I got a 2002 Denali, and one of my parking lights are off, and I noticed this on a lot of the Chevy trucks. And it's not the light bulb itself, because, I checked it and everything, and somebody said that I got something in my dashboard that is not, it's like a relay or something.
Well, they have a module which controls the light. Does the light on all the time, or some cars, when the light is on, you turn the steering wheel, it'll light up on one side to help you go around the corner? I see that on a lot of the new cars now, the late model cars, I should say. So,
well, I don't know. Well, it's hard to notice it when I'm driving the car, truck. But I do notice this, like I said, a lot on a lot of the Chevy trucks. There's always like one of the parking, the driving,
if one light is out, it's got to be a bulb or a light bulb or some connection there, because if there's anything to do with the module or any of the electronics, they both would be out. So I don't think that would play a part, to be honest with you. If it's just one, I think you'll find out it's just something probably in the bulb or in the connection. The worst of it is,
the bulb is good because I've been replacing the bulb.
And does the light up after you replace it?
No.
Well, you got to check to see if electricity is getting to that area. See, it may be just a wire.
See, like I've been taking my little ohms tester, or multi-tester, or whatever.
Right.
And there's no voltage going. There's voltage, of course, going to the side that lights up, but the other side it does not light up.
Well, then you got to trace that wire down. It's disconnected somewhere. The car been in an accident? Ever been in an accident? I see this happening all the time. But it's got to be in the wiring system. I don't think it'd be in the module or anything, or they both would be out, because all that electricity comes from one source.
Well, now, is there like 2 modulators?
No, I don't think so. Not as far as the lights go.